Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An assortment of shows from February 16th across the years. We'll start off in a few moments with Fanny Brice. And thank you for being with us. This is finally a Saturday, 16th day of September, 259th day of the year, 106 days remaining. Russia set fire to Moscow shortly after midnight on this date in 1812. The city completely burned down days later. 1887, the first game of softball played in Chicago. 1893, settlers raced in Oklahoma for prime land on the Cherokee Strip. General Motors founded on this date in 1908. 1919, the American Legion Incorporated. 1920, a bomb in a horse wagon exploded in front of the J.P. Morgan building in New York City. 38 killed, 400 injured. In 1940, Sam Rayburn was elected Speaker of the House of Representatives. He was regarded as the most effective Speaker of the House history. Juan Perón deposed in Argentina in 1955. The first primetime network show to totally focus on rock and roll premiered on this date in 1964, Shindig. It was a replacement for the folk music show Hootenanny. Shindig spawned a number of competitors before leaving the air after just 2 seasons. It would be replaced on ABC in 1966 by Batman, the next big cult hit. Metropolitan Opera House opened in Lincoln Center in New York City in 1966 to the world premiere of Samuel Barber's opera Antony and Cleopatra. The Montreal Protocol signed in 1987 to protect the ozone layer from depletion. The trial of Panamanian strongman dictator Manuel Noriega began in 1991 in the U.S. In 2008, the federal government announced an emergency $85 billion loan to rescue the world's largest insurance company, AIG. And a gunman killed 12 people at the Navy Yard in Washington on this date in 2013. Passing away on this date in history, man won 5 Academy Awards for a cartoon, Tom and Jerry. Fred Quimby passing away on this date. Maria Callas, the soprano. Singer-songwriter Sheb Woolley, who was known in country circles as Ben Colder and did a number of parodies there, but probably best known, the one-eyed, one-horned, pied-eyed purple people eater. Passing away on this date, and from Peter, Paul, and Mary Travers, also passing away on this date in history. Birthdays of note today include Charlie Bird, Alan Funt from Candid Camera, Lauren Bacall, B.B. King, Anne Francis, and Peter Falk.
And the winner is Peter Falk, Colombo.
Well, it's terrific to win. What an easy laugh. Yeah, it really is. It's terrific to win. I'm trying to figure out some way to appear humble. It's not going to work. I was in New York yesterday. Today is Sunday, isn't it? And I had some business in the morning, and I did 2 shows, and then I grabbed a cab, and I raced to the airport, and I tried to catch that at 11 o'clock. I figured to miss it, and I did. So I laid over in Kennedy for 3 hours to catch Eastern out to Atlanta, Georgia. I was there for 2 hours, caught Delta into Dallas, Texas, and I was 2 hours there to get TWA into L.A., and I know it's not a very interesting story. I only mention it because I wanted to point out that in regard to whether or not I wanted to be here, I was relatively indifferent. But I wouldn't be here, and there wouldn't be any Columbo. There wouldn't be any show. There wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for Bill Link and Dick Levinson. They created this character, and they created this format, and they wrote, and they produced, and it's their idea. It's their baby. The whole thing is theirs, and I'm very grateful to them. I also want to thank Dick Irving. He's believed in this thing for about 5 years and fought for it, and I don't think without his persistence, I don't know whether it'd be on the air. I can thank Everett Chambers for a lot of things. I think I'll pick two: making me laugh and being a man, and Steve Bochco for the writing he did every week. And then I want to thank my family for giving me a week of solitude and total concentration, which allowed me to compose this acceptance speech.
A very Columbo-esque speech for his Emmy Award win way back when. Peter Falk, born on this date in history. Also celebrating birthdays today, Ed Begley Jr., Mickey Rourke, jazz guitarist Earl Klugh, David Copperfield, the magician. From the Child's Play movies, Jennifer Tilly, singer Richard Marx. From Saturday Night Live, Molly Shannon. Also singer Mark Anthony. Also from Saturday Night Live, Amy Poehler, Alexis Bledel from the Gilmore Girls, and from the Nanny and Heroes, Madeline Zima, from the Proud Family, and from the Dr. Dolittle movies with Eddie Murphy, Kyla Pratt, and one of the Jonas Brothers, Nick Jonas, born on this date. And if you were born on this date... Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, happy birthday! Happy birthday to you! And coming up in a moment, Fanny Brice, although she doesn't appear in this show, and we're not sure why. But Baby Snooks show, September 16th, 1945, that's up next here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Eddie Cantor helps Daddy search for Fanny Brice, Baby Snooks. And she didn't appear on this show, and we don't really know why. Maybe it was just a gimmick. We don't know. Hanley Stafford is Dad, and of course Eddie Cantor in this program here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. September 16th, 1945, and that's 78 years ago.
Sanka is the coffee that lets you sleep. But now, wake up! It's time for the Baby Snooks Show.
Sang coffee lets you sleep, lets you sleep, lets you sleep. Sang coffee lets you sleep, so drink Sanka.
Yes, it's the Baby Snooks Show, which will star Fanny Brice as Baby Snooks with Hanley Stafford as special guest of the day, Eddie Cantor. And brought to you by Sanka Coffee, the coffee that's 100% flavor-rich, so you'll always enjoy it, and 90% caffeine-free, so it will never interfere with sleep. It is late afternoon in the Higgins household in Sycamore Terrace, and Baby Snooks has not come home from school. Daddy and Mommy are frantic with worry. Daddy has been making a tour of the town in search of Snooks, and he's just now coming in the house.
Is that you, Lancelot?
Yes, dear. Did Snooks come home?
No. Didn't you find her anywhere?
Not a trace. I went to the park, the drugstore, the movie theater.
What was playing?
What's that got to do with it? It was called Flaming Passion. Snooks wouldn't be interested in seeing that.
Oh, no. No, of course not. She's already seen it 4 times.
Well, I don't know where else to look for her.
Did you try the bakery shop?
Bakery shop?
Yes. Mr. Schultz tells me she often goes in there and feels the coffee cake.
I should have thought of that.
Take your feet off that chair.
Oh, yes, dear. Say, do you think she could be at the public library?
No, I doubt it. Isn't her library card in that big book there?
Oh, yes. My, what did she take this book out for? A critical analysis of pre-Renaissance Gothic architecture. Now, what did she take out a big book like that for?
It makes more spitballs.
Oh, what's the matter with that kid?
Well, remember, you're her father. Watch your ashes.
Oh, yes, dear. Doesn't she know that's public property? I'll just wait till she comes home.
Oh, I wish she would come home.
Well, don't you worry, dear. She'll show up. I have Uncle Louie and Aunt Sophie out hunting for her. This isn't the first time she's been late.
But not this late. An ice cream for dinner, and she hasn't done anything naughty.
Nothing that we know of.
Maybe that's Snooks.
It's Uncle Louie. Don't slam the door.
Remember the picture? Hang the picture up again, Lancelot.
Yes, dear.
A cardboard house?
Any news, Uncle Louie?
Oh, not a thing. My bookie skipped town.
Oh, we don't care about the races.
Oh?
Didn't you go to the police station?
Oh, yes. That I did. I didn't think you knew.
Oh, please, Uncle Louie. Please tell us what happened.
Oh, it was nothing. I pleaded guilty, and they let me off with a small fine.
Small fine?
Yeah.
I sent you to the police station to find out about Snooks.
Well, so you did, but how do you like that? The low-down cheats took my check without batting an eye. I'll sue them if that check turns out to be good.
Oh, a lot of help you've been. Oh. What about Snooks?
A great little girl. Great.
Louie, try to be sensible. Don't you realize Snooks is gone?
How did you ever arrange it?
Oh. Maybe something terrible has happened. Can't you think where she might be?
Let me see. I have it. I'll go look in the pool parlor at the corner.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. What would she be doing at the pool parlor?
Well, you know Snooks. Maybe she's behind the 8 ball again. Oh. I'll go down and see. Goodbye, folks.
Louie, don't slam the door.
Oh. Hang the picture up again, Lancelot.
Yes, dear.
Well, answer the phone, Lancelot.
Oh, yes, dear. Hello?
Hello, Lancelot, dear boy.
It's Aunt Sophie. Did you find out anything, Aunt Sophie?
About Snooks? No. The most unfortunate thing happened. I fainted.
Uh-huh. In front of whose mansion?
The Van Peisters. And you'll never guess what.
They just happened to be having a big, swanky party.
Well, however did you know?
Well, last week you sprained your ankle and they had to carry you into the Kensington's tea dance, Aunt. The week before you had a sunstroke.
Now, never mind. They just happened to be unfortunate accidents.
Why don't you forget your phony social aspirations? After all, we both know you used to be a waitress in a hash house.
Why, Lancelot, that is merely a figment of your imagination.
All right. Forget about it, Aunt Sophie. Just bring me some hotcakes.
One stack of wheat's coming up. Lancelot, for shame. How can you resort to such low-down trickery? A fine way to treat a weekend guest. I bid you tooth yours.
Weekend guest. Since when is it 3 years from Friday to Monday?
Lancelot.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. It's just that I'm so upset about Snooks. Well, I'm going to do something practical right now. I'm going over to the radio station. Eddie Cantor's doing a program. Maybe he'll broadcast an appeal about Snooks.
Okay, Mr. Cantor, we're ready for your number.
All right. Thank you, fella. Now, remember, Union, I go back on the air with my program September the 26th. It's only 10 days away. Now, let's run over. I'm going to love that gal. Make it good, huh?
I'm gonna love that gal like she's never been loved before. I'm gonna show that gal she's the baby that I adore. When she's in my arms again, our dreams will all come true. Then the years between might never have been. We'll start our lives anew. I'm gonna kiss that gal like she's never been kissed before. And though I miss that gal, she's the baby I'm waiting for. We'll never part again. She'll hold my heart again forever and evermore. I'm gonna love that gal like she's never been loved before.
Sister, I can hardly wait. Feel my heart palpitate.
We'll never part again. She'll hold my heart again forever and evermore. I'm gonna love that gal. I'm gonna kiss that gal. I'm gonna love that gal like she's never been loved before. That's it. That's good, boys. That's fine.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Lancelot Higgins. Do you run this studio?
Run the studio? If I ran it, do you think I'd let myself get away with the things I get away with?
I'm Eddie Cantor.
Oh, well, Mr. Cantor, I came here for help.
Well, I get pleasure out of helping people. What is your trouble?
My little daughter is lost.
I see. Would you like to borrow one of mine?
Oh, no.
Take your choice. There's Marilyn and Marjorie. There's Janet.
Listen,
there's Edna. I can go on like this for days, you know.
I just want my own dear little Snooks.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Higgins. An only child, no doubt?
I have 3 others. How many children have you?
I don't know. When I left home this morning, Ida wasn't... Mr. Higgins, I've been in the maternity ward so often they served me aspirin with my monogram on it. So you see, I'm in a position to give you some advice.
Oh, thank you.
You say you have 4 little girls, huh?
No, 2 of them are boys.
Boys. In that case, you can give me some advice.
Please, Mr. Cantor. I thought if only we could make some sort of radio appeal, we might find Snooks immediately.
Well, I'll speak to my announcer, Harry Von Zell. Maybe he could slip in the announcement with his commercial, huh?
Oh, swell. I don't know how to thank you.
No need. Glad to do it. Now, let me take some notes on her appearance. What does your little girl look like?
Well, did you see Meet Me in St. Louis?
Oh, yes. You mean she looks like Margaret O'Brien?
No, Marjorie Maid.
And now she's lost.
Yes.
Let me be the first to congratulate you.
Oh, but you don't understand. I want to find her.
Well, everybody to his taste, but I warn you, the older they get, the harder they are to lose. That's what George Jessel told me. I'll tell you what I want to do. Anyhow, I'm pretty good at this sort of thing. When did you first notice that she was missing?
Well, not for quite a while. I was busy in my laboratory working on a new invention. A fuel substitute.
Really?
Yes. It's a powdery substance. You simply drop it in water and use it for gas.
What's it called? Salopatica? But seriously, why don't you take me home with you? Perhaps I can track her down for you.
Oh, no, I wouldn't ask you.
Let's be on our way. I want to meet your family.
Well, you asked for it.
Well, there they go, Wilcox. But I bet they'll never be able to find Snooks.
Well, Carmen Dragon, I suppose you could.
Oh, maybe. Remember how the Pied Piper of Hamelin called all the children to him with music?
Yeah.
Well, suppose I try to get Snooks that way. Listen.
All right. Come out, come out. Say, maybe you ought to use your musical influence on those grown-ups who are disturbed by the caffeine in the coffee they drink. You know what their first words are every morning, don't you? That's right. They never sleep a wink. The caffeine in their coffee keeps them awake. Now, if they drink Sanka coffee, they'd sing a different tune. Because Sanka coffee has had 97% of the caffeine taken out, so it can't interfere with sleep. And have you heard how wonderful Sanka coffee tastes? bet it's good. Fragrant, delicious, roaster fresh, too. You'll never miss a wink of sleep, and you'll always enjoy every cup you drink of Sanka coffee. Carmen Dragon and his orchestra with June is busting out all over.
Yes, dear?
Oh, Lancelot, I haven't heard a word about Snooks.
Well, I've got someone here who might help us. Dear, I'd like you to meet Eddie Cantor.
How do you do? Are you one of Snooks' little friends?
Madam, don't let my young appearance fool you. I'm old enough to be Snooks' brother. Older brother, oldest.
Mummy, this is Eddie Cantor.
Who?
Oh, you know him. If you knew Susie and I know Susie. Oh, what a gal.
Oh, Lancelot. Lancelot, how can you act so stupid at a time like this?
Stupid? I've made a good living. Seriously, Mrs. Higgins. Mrs. Higgins, I came here to be of assistance. I want to do anything I can to help you find Snooks.
Oh, I've been racking my brain.
I noticed a funny sound here. Go ahead.
You know, just before you came in, I almost established contact with her.
What's that?
Oh, don't mind her, Eddie. She thinks she's psychic.
Well, don't scoff. It's perfectly possible. All women have a sort of a sixth sense.
They do?
Did you ever try to sneak in at 3 a.m. after a poker game?
I see what you mean.
Sure, they're all equipped with radar. I'm just kidding, Mrs. Higgins. You stay here and try to contact Snooks. Mr. Higgins, would you show me the place where she was last seen?
All right. It was up in the twins' nursery. Come on.
Let's go. Nice little house you've got here.
Well, it wasn't this nice when we bought it.
No?
We've made changes in a lot of the rooms. Here's the baby's nursery.
Baby's nursery. I bet you made a lot of changes in here, too.
I'd like to have a nickel for everyone I folded and pinned on those two babies.
Me too. I was as fast as lightning in my day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're probably pretty rusty now.
Oh, I don't know. One doesn't lose a touch. Wouldn't be a bit surprised if I could beat you right now.
Bet you $10.
You're on.
You take one of the twins, and I'll take the other.
Yeah.
Here's yours.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Mine would cry. Sure. This was a better idea than we thought.
Ready?
Ready.
All clear for action?
All clear.
Material unfolded?
Material unfolded.
Pin free and clear?
Pin free and clear.
Go!
Roger. Once
over, twice over.
Up we go, under we go, left side, right side.
Hey, no can.
What's the matter? What'd I do?
You can't do that. You forgot the powder.
Well, I always use the powder afterward.
After you've diapered them? How?
I leave an opening, that's how.
Quiet. Here comes Aunt Sophie.
Well, what's going on here?
Oh, we put dadies on the Biby. Biby's on the daddy.
Dadies on the Bobby. He said Bobby, I would have killed him.
Well, you both have a... Okay. Well, you both have a poor sense of direction. Look how high up you've got them. You've gagged the kids.
Well, we felt we could use a gag here.
A comedian.
Oh, he certainly is. This is Eddie Cantor.
What, the Eddie Cantor?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, Mr. Cantor. Why, I remember the first time I saw you.
What a memory. Really?
Yeah, sure. Why, you had been a star for years.
Years? Take it easy now.
Well, yes, I got in for half price.
Yeah, why? Were you in the service? I didn't know they had wax in the Civil War.
Why, Mr. Cantor, I take back all the nice things I said about you. I bid you Avon Dupoy.
Dupoy on you, too.
Well, Mr. Cantor, it's getting later and still no sign of Snooks.
Now, you say you last saw the child here in the nursery?
Oh, no. I didn't see her.
No?
The cook, Sunshine, was the last to see her.
Well, let me speak to her.
Well, I'll ask her if she'll see you.
You'll ask her. Tell her. Tell her I want to speak to her.
Evidently, you don't have help at your house.
Of course not. Not with 6 women in the house. I simply bought each of them a carpet sweeper, and I stand in the middle of the room and direct traffic.
Well, now, look. Why don't you tell me what you want to ask the cook, and I'll ask her while I'm doing the dishes tonight.
Don't tell me she makes you wash the dishes.
Oh, only takes a minute.
Yeah, but why do you have to do it? Why not your wife?
Well, who'd sit with the cook's child?
Oh, of course. I never thought of that.
It's really not so bad. She gets every Thursday night off.
Who, the cook?
No, my wife.
Why do you let her get away with so much?
Well, cooks are hard to get. Besides, she can lick me.
Yeah. Well, I'll be able to handle her. Come on, Higgins, to the kitchen. I'll see Sunshine. Is this the kitchen right here?
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine, I'd like a word with you.
Yeah?
That's the word. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Sunshine, don't you know who this is? He's a famous radio comedian.
Oh, come right in, Mr. Hope.
No. This is Eddie Cantor.
Eddie Cantor. Well, come right in.
Oh, you like me, huh?
No, I just want to see how it feels to have ham in the kitchen again.
That's all. Let's get out of here, Higgins.
Wait, you said you were going to tell her off.
Don't be silly, Higgins. Why should I talk harshly to her? She might be somebody's father. Come on.
We'll resume our search for Baby Snooks in a few moments, but now we'd like to have you meet our young singing star of Paramount Pictures, Bob Graham, singing How Deep is the Ocean.
And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How can I tell you what is in my heart? How can I measure each and every part? How can I tell you how much I love you?
can measure just how much I do. How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? How many times a day do I think of you? How many roses are sprinkled with you? How far would I travel to be where you are? How far is the journey from here to a star? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is the
You back again?
Well, I just thought...
Yeah?
Well, a little refreshment for our guest.
If you mean that so-called radio comedian, no.
Oh, now. Look, I'll fix it. Let's see, now, where would the coffee be?
Not in the oven.
Oh, no. Of course not. Well, here we are. Well, here we are. Sanka coffee.
What a coffee, Higgins.
What?
Why, Sanka's the coffee that lets everybody sleep. It's got the caffeine taken out, that's why. You see, it's the caffeine in coffee, not the coffee itself, that robs so many people of sleep.
How did you get in here again, Wilcox?
Oh, I was just passing by the kitchen window when I heard you say Sanka coffee, and at once I said to myself, Wilcox, if you're half the man I think you are, you'll go right in there and see if Mr. Higgins has had any news about Snooks. So here I am, and I...
Wouldn't be the Sanka.
Say, did you ever taste a coffee that could compare with it in richness and freshness and body? Why, a man would be mad to pass up a cup of Sanka coffee. But don't get me wrong. If I had to choose between Snooks and Sanka coffee...
There isn't any news of Snooks, Wilcox.
Oh, too bad. Well, I'll just finish up my coffee and go then. I know you'd rather be alone at a time like this, Higgins. So long. Now, back to our search for Baby Snooks.
Well, we've gone through the house, Mr. Cantor.
Are you sure you've told me everything, Higgins?
Everything I know.
And I've spoken to everybody in your family?
Everybody except Uncle Louis Groot.
Well, where is...
Here we are, back in the living room. Uncle Louis! Get out from under that sofa.
Well, all right. But if you weren't such a cheapskate, I wouldn't have to search for your cigars like a sneak thief.
If you'd buy your own, I wouldn't have to hide them all the time.
I choose to take that as an insult. I've got a good mind to pack up and leave.
Oh, yes?
Right after supper.
Who's your bug-eyed companion here? Who's he?
Bug-eyed?
Louis. That's no way to talk to a guest in my house. This is Eddie Cantor. And he's going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah. I got an alibi, mister. I was standing there minding my own business.
Wait a minute.
Walked around. It was a nice conversation we had. Look, I'm not a detective. I just want to ask you a few amateur questions.
Oh, well, go ahead. I'll give you a few professional answers.
Being questioned is nothing new for Louis.
Well, don't worry. He won't outsmart me. What's your name?
Louis Groot.
Where were you born?
New Orleans.
How old are you?
55.
Are you a citizen?
Yeah, are you?
Yes.
Age?
53.
Born?
New York.
Name?
Eddie Cantor. Who's asking who?
Is he? I told you wouldn't get anything out of him.
Well, I'll be running along. Don't hesitate to call on me. Goodbye, Mr. Groot. So long, Bug-Eye.
Bug-Eye.
Don't slam
Door. Such strange people.
Yes, I wish I could lose him instead of Snooks. Oh, poor little Snooks.
I'm terribly sorry I haven't been able to help you, Mr. Higgins. Of course, I will make an announcement on the radio, but I wish I could do something in the meantime.
Oh, you couldn't do anything. Nothing can take the place of my little girl.
Not even me?
You?
Well, I feel I've been listening to Snooks so often I could use just as well.
Really? That's impossible.
Why, Daddy?
Oh, no! No, not that.
I want to be Snooks.
Now, how can you? You're Eddie Cantor and Snooks is Snooks.
I want to be Snooks!
This is silly. You're not a child.
What am I?
What do you think you are?
An elephant?
You are not.
When I grow up, Daddy, can I be an elephant?
Why, of course not. Why should you want to be an elephant?
So I can squirt water through my nose?
Look, let me tell you something.
All right, I'll sit on your lap.
No.
You want to sit on my lap, Daddy?
Aren't you acting a little bit silly?
Uh-huh. Of course, it's way past my bedtime, Daddy.
Well, what do you want me to do about it?
Tuck me in my little bed and put me to sleep, Daddy?
Oh, sure. I'd carry you up to the nursery and tuck you in bed. Anything else you want?
Yes.
What?
Kiss me.
No, don't do that.
Daddy.
What?
I want to get out of bed.
What for?
You know. I'm thirsty, Daddy. I'm thirsty.
Never mind, I'm not listening.
You'll be sorry.
I'm sorry enough now. Don't bother me.
If I don't bother you and go to sleep, can I go out and play with the girls tomorrow, Daddy?
Oh, what would you be doing playing with little girls?
Who said anything about little girls?
That's the last straw. You want to be Snooks, eh?
Uh-huh.
And you want me to treat you just like I treat her?
Yeah.
Come here, dear.
Here I am, little Daddy. What do you want?
This. I'm sorry, Mr. Cantor. For a minute, I forgot myself.
You see, it did you some good. It helped you forget. And believe me, Mr. Higgins, I'll keep on trying to find your little girl. I'm going to make that radio announcement tonight.
What are you going to say?
Just this. If anybody discovers the whereabouts of Snooks, please get in touch with her daddy, Lancelot Higgins, in Sycamore Terrace. Thank you, and good night.
The first program in the series, introducing the new Baby Snooks show, which will star Fanny Brice as Baby Snooks, with Hanley Stafford as Daddy, Carmen Dragon and his orchestra, and Bob Graham, vocalist. Stay tuned to this station for the adventures of the Thin Man, which follows station identification. And be sure to listen next week at the same time for another Baby Snooks show. Our guests then will be Sidney Greenstreet, Robert Benchley, and Peter Lorre. Harlow Wilcox speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcast.
September 16th, 1945, Baby Snooks on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And coming up in a moment, we'll hear from Uncle Milty. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of the Milton Berle Show from September 16th, 1947, as Uncle Milty salutes radio.
If every smoker knew what Philip Morris smokers know, they'd all change to Philip Morris. Johnny presents the Milton Berle Show. Here comes Johnny, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny on the spot for Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette. If every smoker knew what Philip Morris smokers know, they'd all change to Philip Morris. Yes, they'd all. From From Radio City, New York, here is the Milton Berle Show. With Bert Kelton, Jack Albertson, Arnold Stang, Mary Shipp, Arthur Q. Bryan, our singing star Dick Forney, the music of Ray Block and his orchestra, and yours truly, Frank Gallup. Ladies and gentlemen, this week sees the return to the air of many of the comedians we've missed during the summer. We now bring you a comedian no one wants to miss. They'd like to get him on the first shot. And here he is, Milton Berle.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Gallup, I'm horrified. Literally and veritably horrified at your intimation that people come here to shoot at me. You know very well, sir, that every single person in this audience is my friend. That's why before they get in here, they search for weapons by the ushers. Just a precaution. Miss me, didn't you? I keep telling them to search the ushers, too. That's the way I like to start a program, with whimsical comedy. You know, nothing hokey. Well, Mr. Gallup, the big radio season is about to start, and soon all the comedians will be back.
Berle, do you mean there were no comedians on the air all summer?
Well, I was on all summer.
You haven't answered my question.
Mr. Gallup, I'm serious. Tonight we're welcoming back to the air my colleagues in comedy.
You mean they're going to do to the people all winter what you did to them all summer?
Yes?
Psychiatry's in for a big year.
Psychiatry, Mr. Gallup. You've been right alongside of me all summer. It hasn't had any effect on you. You look like a normal person, if you can find a normal person who wants to look like that. I'm sorry, Mr. Gallup, but don't try to match wits with me, because what's that ad-libbing? Because that's what I'm famous for.
That on your 12 toes.
Oh, that's Jim Dandy. That's jazzy. That's clever, Mr. Gallup. Did you make that up out of your own head? I noticed some of the parts were missing. Some of the parts were missing. Oh, see, Mr. Gallup, don't start with me. I'll murder you.
You'll murder me?
Yeah.
Oh, why, I'll cut you down like the hem on a last year's dress.
Oh, yeah? Well,
Quiet, peasant.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Gallup, sir.
Berle, is that a dimple in your cheek, or is that the place where they blow up your head?
Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Is that your mouth, or is that a new tunnel to Jersey?
Is that my mother, isn't it? Well, I guess I stopped him. Go ahead, ad-lib with me.
Berle, you couldn't ad-lib a splinter if you were sitting on Charlie McCarthy's knee.
Miserable joke, good audience. But listen. No, Mr. Gallup, please. No, will you please give me a chance? I mean that sincerely. I just can't stand here without saying something. The Republicans will want to run me for president. Republicans will want to run me for president. Say, the prices the way they are, it's no sin to lay an egg. No, all kidding aside, Mr. Gallup, tonight, Bob Hope's coming back on the air, and, why, in a couple of weeks, I'll have more jokes than I can handle. You know, I'm starting to believe those wild rumors myself. But without further ado, let us welcome to the air the returning comedy shows with a salute to that great invention that has made it all possible, radio. Radio, mighty voice of the world. Radio, lifeblood of advertising. Radio, that wonderful invention where I can reach millions of people who fortunately cannot reach me. Radio.
But it is to the sad and lonely that radio gives its greatest service. When you're in the depths of despair, you turn on your radio and hear these wonderful, comforting words.
Do you need money? Are you hopelessly in debt today because you happen to like butter? Here's what to do. Wait a minute. What's this interruption? Stop this program. Stop. Stop the program. Well, who are you?
I, sir, am Livingston Genzel.
I don't blame you.
I'm with the National Broadcasting Company. Mr. Berle, why weren't you down in the main office this morning with the rest of the comedians who are coming back on the air?
The main office?
Yes. Before they could start a new season, they had to take the NBC pledge. You didn't.
New season? Don't be silly. I've been on the air all summer.
You... all summer?
Yes.
Over NBC?
Yes, I've been on all summer over NBC.
Oh, Mr. Berle, you're joking.
This is great. Here I've been on all summer and
Excuse me, let me check that. Where's the phone? Give me the head technician.
Look, you can take my word for
Hello, Schnauzer? Genzel on this end. Was Milton Berle on all summer? Berle. B-E-R-L-E. Really? Well, what do you know?
Well, satisfied?
He said you were on all summer.
I know.
But the microphones weren't on.
That's great. Well, let's get on with the show.
Sorry, Mr. Berle, you can't start the new season without taking the NBC pledge.
Now, look, we're in the middle.
Berle!
Yeah.
In the next studio, we have Harry Horlick and his A&P gypsies just aching to take over.
Okay. Cast, actors, this way, please. All right, quiet. We're ready for the pledge, Mr. Genzel.
Thank you. Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I solemnly swear...
I solemnly swear
to uphold the standards of NBC.
to uphold the standards of NBC.
I pledge on my honor never to tell jokes such as...
I pledge on my honor never to tell jokes such as...
Your father's mustache.
Your father's mustache.
Parties given by Howard.
Parties given by Howard.
Use.
The
new Studebaker where you can't tell.
The new Studebaker where you can't tell.
Which end is.
Which end is.
Which. Should I violate this oath?
Should I violate this oath?
May I live in eternal shame and disgrace.
May I live in eternal shame and disgrace.
On another network.
On another network.
So help me, Mary Margaret McBride.
So help me, Mary Margaret McBride.
Thank you. Now will you join me in our network song?
Oh, NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. Our hearts and voice we pledge to thee. NBC, oh, NBC.
To thy fair name our hearts are sworn. You give us Boulevard and Carlton Bourne.
Oh, NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Oh, thank you.
Take it easy now. Take it easy, Mr. Genzel.
It always does this to me.
Take it easy.
I guess I'm just a sentimental old fool.
Mr. Genzel is such a nice man, isn't he? You know, this NBC's got such a big organization, and yet it has heart.
Oh, come, Berle, let's not slobber.
Mr. Gallup, must I always be the fool and the clown? Can't I get a little mellow?
You're beyond that. You're gamey.
Mr. Gallup! I'm warning you, if you don't stop with that ad-libbing...
Yes?
You'll murder me.
Oh, kid around with Frank Gallup.
Yeah.
Berle, let's not forget one of radio's great contributions to the public, the news commentators.
Oh, I see, Mr. Gallup. And tonight?
You are H.V. Gabriel Berle.
Yes?
Ladies and gentlemen, H.V. Gabriel Berle.
There's good news tonight, folks. From an unusually reliable source, we learn that the unusually reliable source I quoted yesterday isn't very reliable. Usually. But as the president of Standard Oil said to the president of Mobile Oil, your gas is as good as mine. And now, with your permission, here is my good friend Johnny, who I will now put on the spot. Tell me, Johnny, in your opinion, and this is for the record, Why is Philip Morris so much better to smoke?
Here's your answer, Gabriel.
Heater, please.
It's because the Philip Morris smoker really gets what other smokers only hope to get.
Right, Johnny. Philip Morris is the one leading cigarette with an exclusive difference in manufacture. The only leading cigarette scientifically proved far less irritating to the nose and throat. Remember, less irritation means more enjoyment. That's why the Philip Morris smoker really gets what other smokers only hope to get. Better taste, finer flavor, perfect smoking pleasure.
You and I know that, but does every smoker know that?
No.
Oh.
If every smoker knew what Philip Morris smokers know, they'd all change to Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette. For perfect smoking pleasure, try a pack of Philip Morris today.
The way he shakes all over there. I guess he drank some milk and he wants to get them altered. Ladies and gentlemen, you shake very well. Really? Yes, sir. That was Tomorrow, played today by Ray Block and the Philip Morris Orchestra. And Ray, may I add, which I seldom can do, especially the dough I get on the show. Ray, that was wonderful. I like the way the orchestra follows you from one racetrack to another. And now, let us continue our salute to radio as we present
Radio Forum tonight. Radio Forum tonight. The question: if you have a lady in the balcony, why tell Dr. IQ?
Thank you, Mr. Gallup. We're ready now for questions from the floor. Let's start here with this tall gentleman in the aisle teaching his girl how to swim. Young man, you have a question?
Yes. Mr. Berle, this year my organization voted you the radio comedian most likely to succeed.
Oh, thank you. Tell me, who did you vote last year as the comedian most likely to succeed?
You. We'll keep trying.
Thank you. Let us go on. All right, this young man with the chinchilla sideburns. Young man, what is your name?
My name is Oxidol Sparkle.
Oxidol Sparkle?
Yeah, it's a soap. Everyone in my family is named after a soap. I got a brother named Ivory.
Ivory?
Yeah.
Why?
He's 99 and 44 100%.
99 and 41 400% what?
We ain't found out yet.
You mean everyone in your family is named after a soap that describes him?
Oh, sure, even my baby brother.
I see. What's his name?
Does.
All right, Oxidol, you have a question that has to do with radio.
Oh, yeah, I got a question, but you won't let me say what I want to say anyway.
Of course
I just have to open my mouth and you'll say I'm out of order.
No, I won't.
You ask a person to talk and then you try and muzzle him.
No, but I
What,
did...
are you, an investigating committee or something?
No,
This is my country, and nobody can stop me from shooting off my big bazoo.
I know, but
Yeah, this is my country,
Okay.
and I can yada till I'm blue in the face.
All right,
This is my country, and I can even flop my trap at Harry Truman.
Please,
Oh, shut up, you dictator.
Now, please. Please, young man. Don't jump at me. Now, please try to control yourself. Young man, if you have a question, let's have it.
Okay. Do I look like Gregory Peck?
Oh, please, sit down. Now, let's hear from the fairer sex. All right, this lady in the corner breading the codfish balls. Young lady, what is your name?
Tallulah Feeney, I'm a homemaker.
I see. And You have a question?
Yeah, how can I stop my husband Brentwood from bringing home them prizes from quiz shows? Our living room looks like a push cart.
Your husband brings home a lot of prizes?
We're loaded with electrical stuff. Washing machines, irons, vacuum cleaners. If you can plug it in, we got it.
Really?
Last week he went to take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it?
He took it, but they caught him.
He was eliminated?
Yeah, but he come back to win the giant jackpot.
He answered the question?
Nah, he had the biggest pot.
Good for him.
I met my husband Brentwood on one of them giveaway shows.
You did, eh?
Yeah, they blindfolded me and told me the first thing I touched, I could have.
Yes?
I felt around and touched Brentwood.
You touched Brentwood? How come?
His nose was cold. I thought it was the knob on a refrigerator.
I see.
The thing that drove me nuts was when he went on Truth or Consequences.
He was on Truth and Consequences?
Ralph Edwards made him pretend for a week that he was a young housewife.
You mean for a week your husband acted like a young housewife?
It was murder. Every night after dinner, he got on my lap and pestered me for a mink coat.
And for acting like a young housewife, did he get a prize?
Yeah, they give him a book. It sure scared him.
What was the name of the book?
So you're going to have a baby.
Thank you, Mrs. Feeney. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now, as a fitting climax to this forum, let us extend an official welcome to the programs returning to the air as we all join together and sing.
The comedy shows are back, it's true. Doo-dah.
Hoo-ha.
Hope and Allen and Fibber McGoo.
Oh, hoo-ha, hey.
Oh, watch the comedians sing and dance. Doo-dah.
Hoo-ha.
Some will even drop their pants.
Oh, hoo-ha, hey.
Turn your radio on, synchronize your clocks. You're stuck in the house until next June, listening for the yachts.
Hoo-ha.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's our young singing star, Dick Farney, to sing.
Je vous aime, ma chérie, je vous adore. Will I hear those lovely words no more? Je vous aime, ma chérie, je vous adore. Can't we sing as we sang before? In her eyes was a promise so tender, while her lips sang a song of surrender that will live in my heart forevermore. Je vous aime, ma chérie, je vous adore. In her eyes was a promise so tender, while her lips sang a song of surrender that will live in my heart forevermore. Je vous aime, ma chérie, je vous adore.
Bravo. Bravo, Dick. Singing better every week. That was really wonderful, Dick. Wonderful.
Burl, we've done a lot of joshing about radio tonight. I think it's time for some bouquets.
Flower bouquets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Frankly, I was quite proud this weekend when I read that at their first annual conference, the National Broadcasting Company at its stations announced that beginning January 1st, no mystery or crime programs will be heard on this network before children's bedtime.
Gee, that's fine.
Yes, they found that these programs overstimulate children, make them nervous. Haven't you found that so with your son, Junior?
I'm glad you asked me that. Just... Good dovetailing. Just this week, what I went through with Junior, Mr. Gallup, let me tell you about it. My wife and I were home...
Junior, come home.
Oh, darling, this is awful. It's dark and Junior's still out.
Junior, come home.
He's getting to be a regular lassie. Close the window, dear. It's no use.
Milton, we have to do something about him. This is the 4th night in a row he's gnawed through his leash.
It's those crime programs that he listens to. 4 a.m, he sneaks into our bedroom and holds lighted matches to the soles of my feet and yells, "Take that, Flatfoot."
He could only get some sleep.
I know. He's the only kid in the neighborhood who has Benzedrine on his Wheaties. Shh. Oh, here he comes.
St. Louis women with their diamond rings. Lisa Meadow.
I'll teach you to stay out after dark.
Milton, you know what the doctor said about slapping Junior on the top of his head.
I was careful, dear. I avoided the point. Now, Junior, darling, sit down. Daddy has something to tell you.
Okay, take it slow and wait for your laughs.
Junior, you are not going to listen to any more of those crime programs.
Of course, you know this means I leave home.
Junior, I wish you wouldn't keep saying that. You build up Mommy and Daddy's hopes, but you never go. Now, Junior, get this. I want you to understand this. Starting tonight, you're going to get some sleep. Now, go to bed.
You're kidding.
No, go to bed.
Hey, Pop.
Yes.
I got news for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you set?
Yes.
Are you tuned in?
Yes.
I'm not going to bed.
Junior! You are going to bed, and that's final.
Okay. Clear the deck. Here it comes.
No, Junior, please.
Oh, come on,
No, Junior. Junior.
Where's the gateway?
Junior.
Where's the gateway?
Junior.
Where's the gateway?
Quiet. Junior.
Stop it!
Stop it. Oh, what a child. Now stop chewing on my shoes. Darling, this settles it. The first thing tomorrow morning, we're taking him to a child psychiatrist. Excuse me, miss. We're the Burles. We have an appointment.
Of course, Dr. Clyde will be right out.
Junior, put your clothes back on. This is the waiting room.
Ah, Mr. and Mrs. Burle. And this is Junior.
Junior! You see what we mean, Doctor?
Doctor, if he would only sleep.
Why, it's just an active imagination. Instead of the crime programs, let him listen to something soothing. A radio bedtime story. It'll lull his mind. Now I'll go in with him.
Watch yourself, Doctor. He's tricky.
Mr. Burle, I've handled hundreds of youngsters. Step inside, Sonny.
Okay, folks, we're through. Let's go.
Well, Doctor, how did it go?
Fine. Quick, somebody, give me a cigarette.
Doctor, will he be all right?
No, everything is well. He's a nice boy.
Good. I'll bring Junior back to you tomorrow.
You're kidding.
No, I want you to see him every day.
No, not that. I'll kill myself. That's what I'll do. I'll kill myself.
No, wait a minute.
It's all your fault.
Take it easy. Junior, please, Doctor, stop it.
He's getting like you two.
Milton, it's almost time for that bedtime story Dr. Clyde suggested.
Oh, good, darling. Junior, come here.
What is it now?
Junior, sit down. We're all going to listen to a radio program. I'll turn on the radio.
This is station KLOP, and here, kiddies, is your old Uncle Sleepwell with another adventure of little Josephine in Bingo Bingo Land.
Look, Milton, Junior's eyes are closed.
Isn't he adorable?
Good evening, kiddies. Well, this is Uncle Sleepwell again. When we left little Josephine yesterday, she was walking through the jungle. Suddenly, she stopped and said...
What's that?
An elephant had stepped on little Josephine's foot. Slowly, it crushed her toes.
Oh, no. No, it's horrible.
Easy, Junior, easy.
Slowly, the elephant rolled over Josephine. One by one, her ribs snapped. All around her, gleaming eyes of tigers, lions, panthers. Then they all sprang at her. They tore at her. She tried to run. There was no escape. What will happen to little Josie?
Tune in again tomorrow, kiddies, and find out what happened to little Josephine. Pleasant dreams.
What'll happen to little Josephine?
Junior, go to bed.
Bed? No, I'll see those gleaming eyes. Those breaking bones. No. What happened to little Josephine?
Yes, what happened to little Josephine?
Shame on you, darling. Now, take Junior to bed and stop acting like a baby. It was silly. It was only a bedtime story. It's a make-believe.
Come, Junior.
Here's those eyes.
How do you like that? Imagine scaring kids like that. Where's that phone? I'll tell him something. Scaring children. Hello, station KLOP? Let me talk to Uncle Sleepwell. Yes. Hello, Uncle Sleepwell. I want to ask you something. What happened to little Josephine? Tomorrow? But I can't wait till tomorrow. I won't be able to sleep. Those gleaming eyes, those screams. Please. What happened to little Josephine? What happened to her? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'll be back just as soon as I get my nerves restrung. In the meantime, here is Mr. Gallup to say...
Philip Morris is the only leading cigarette scientifically proved far less irritating to the nose and throat. Remember, less irritation means more enjoyment. That's why the Philip Morris smoker really gets what other smokers only hope to get. Better taste, finer flavor, perfect smoking pleasure. Yes, it's true.
If every smoker knew what Philip Morris smokers know, they'd all change to Philip Morris. Made in America, by Americans, to please American tastes. Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette.
Thank you. Philip Morris is happy to join the National Broadcasting Company in saluting the United Nations during this United Nations Week. Remember, there's a U in United Nations. Good night, folks.
Now to the thousands of store windows and counters all over America. Look for me. I'll be waiting for you. Come in and call for Philip Morris.
Yes, if every smoker knew what Philip Morris smokers know, they'd all change to Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's it, 5. Pipe smokers, try Revelation pipe tobacco, a smooth blend of 5 tobaccos. Yes, relax, take 5, take Revelation, a fine pipe tobacco. The Milton Berle Show was written by Nat Hiken and Aaron Rubin. This is Frank Gallup saying goodnight for Philip Morris.
A great cast of the Milton Berle Show, September 16th, 1947. When Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues, we get finally to Lost Wages with Lum and Abner. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of the Lum and Abner Trek to Las Vegas. This from September 16th, 1948.
That's our ring. Time for Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. You know, friends, it's always wise, always to have a package of Alka-Seltzer handy. Yes, you never know when headache, pain, or acid indigestion may threaten to interfere with your day. With Alka-Seltzer handy, you can get the fast, effective relief you want from these ailments, and in record time. Yes, Alka-Seltzer's fast, really fast acting, and the relief it brings is easy and pleasant. Now, all you do is drop an Alka-Seltzer tablet or two into a glass of water, listen to it fizz, then drink it down. And because it's in solution when you take it, the pain reliever in Alka-Seltzer is right ready to go to work on your headache or acid indigestion distress. Ready to bring you fast, welcome relief. So make it a point never to be without Alka-Seltzer. Keep a package where you work, a package in the car, and of course always keep an eye on that home supply. Remembering, when those tablets get down to 4, that's the time to buy some more Alka-Seltzer. All drugstores sell this dependable product. And don't forget, it can pay you to buy that extra package of Alka-Seltzer every time. And now let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, after leaving the Grand Canyon, where they ran into Ben Withers again, Abner and his companions continued on their way to Las Vegas. And now, as we look in on our friends, we find Abner in a telephone booth in a Las Vegas drugstore. Listen.
Hello, Lom? Doggies, I sure had a hard time getting you. That hotel varmint there at the desk don't seem to know nobody. Huh? Well, I'm in a drugstore, I think. Fact is, I'm in a little tiny house that's inside the drugstore. Just enough room in here for a telephone, that's about all. Telephone booth? Is that what they call them? Oh. Well, what I called you about is to ask you, how do I get back to the hotel? Why, from here, of course. Well, that's just it. I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost. Well, I think I went south when I left the hotel, but I ain't sure. See, I started out to find a place where I could buy a picture postcard to send to Ben Withers and ask somebody where that La Cucaracha Dude Ranch was so we could find Elizabeth. And then I recollected I'd forgot my spectacles, and when I turned around to go back to the hotel, I couldn't find the dad blame place. Well, yeah, I reckon they could direct me from here. Yeah, maybe they got postcards here, too. Yeah, I'll try that, but don't you leave the hotel now. I want to have somebody I can call in case I get lost again. All right, goodbye. Doggies, it's hot in that contraption. Whew. Say, miss, could I get a drink of water?
Sure. What'll you have with it? Well, is it hot enough for you?
Yes, too hot if you want my notions. Oh, doggies, I was thirsty.
Huh? Now, what else do you want?
Well, first thing I want is to find Elizabeth.
Find who?
Elizabeth, she's been here in Las Vegas for a week now. Come out on a train.
Oh, you must have the wrong place, Grandpa. There ain't nobody here by that name. Well, there used to be a kid named Evelyn worked here, but she left, and I don't know where she went to.
No, I'm sure her name was Elizabeth. Well, no, it was. I was married to her for, I don't know how many years. Seems like all my life.
Oh, it's your wife.
Yeah, she's kind of tall and wiry. Got her hair in a little round knot on the back of her head.
You say she's got a knot on her head?
Oh, no, it just looks like it. It's her hair all wadded up there. Have you saw her around any place?
Are you kidding?
Well, no, I figured you was bound to run into her sometime. She's been here might nigh a week.
My, I just can't understand why I ain't run into her at the club or around the pool.
Well, you'd know her if you seen her. She's got on a brand spanking new seersucker suit and bought it just special to make this trip in. Got a straw hat on with a big batch of vegetables on top of it. Well, they ain't real vegetables, just artificial. Bananas and such as that. Carrots, I don't know what all.
Sounds real chic.
And she might be wearing a Battenberg coat. I know she brung it with her.
No.
Well, she's dressed as up as Elizabeth's ever been, I'll tell you that. You sure you ain't saw her?
Believe me, if I had seen her, I'd never forget her.
Well, you must have saw her somewhere. She walks like this. Look.
Oh, no.
Got a good stride. She developed it trying to keep up that young span of mules of hers when she's plowing.
Oh, cut it out, will you?
I'd sure love to find her before our vacation's over.
Yeah, well, it would be nice.
Yes, it would. She's got all my clothes. You sure you ain't saw her nowhere?
Well, of course I ain't, and cut it out, will you? It ain't funny no more.
Well, that's curious. When Elizabeth goes to a place, she gets acquainted with everybody around there sooner or later. Say, I'll tell you something else you might be able to help me with.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Could you tell me how I can get back to the Smedley Hotel?
Smedley.
Yeah, that's the name. Do you know where it's at?
I got news for you, Grandpa. You're in it.
Ah.
This drugstore's in the lobby of the Smedley Hotel.
Well, I'll be dead blame. Well, no wonder I couldn't find it.
Hey, look, where are you from, Grandpa?
Pine Ridge, Arkansas.
No.
I live right in the city there.
Well, I could tell you was from the city.
See, now there's something else you can help me with. Have you got any picture postcards?
You might try in the back part of the store. They got everything else here, I know.
I want to get them for a friend of mine, Ben Withers. Ben might not come to Las Vegas with us.
Well, ain't that chummy?
See, he was going to ride as far as Mount Ida with us, but then he found out Mount Ida was in the other direction, so he got out and was going to hike hitch, and, well, when we got to Albert QQ, there was Ben selling blankets. He got mixed up and went the wrong way.
I think if you go back
and
there,
then we bought all his blankets so he'd have enough money to buy a bus ticket back to Pine Ridge, and then we went on. And somehow we got lost and wound up at the Grand Canyons. And you know who we seen there?
Buffalo Bill?
Ben Withers. Still selling blankets. See, he'd got on the wrong bus and got off of that and hitched another ride, and somehow or other, why, he got to the Grand Canyons, too.
Yeah, well,
So,
look, Grandpa.
We bought his blankets all over again and got enough money for him to buy another bus ticket to Pine Ridge, and this time we put him on the bus and made sure he wouldn't make another mistake. And last thing he said to me was, be sure and send me a nice picture postcard of Las Vegas.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you ought to do, and right now. Now, you just go back to the back end of the store here and tell Al that you... Oh, no. No, Al ain't here no more. Oh, they got somebody new. Honestly, the way they change help around this joint is a crying shame.
Yeah, well, I'll go back and ask him. I'm sure much obliged to you for helping me out, Mia.
I don't know why they ever fired Al. He was the best dancer they ever had around here. Now they want to hire some old...
Hey, you, down behind the counter there. Could I get some picture postcards?
How's that?
I want to get some cards. Well, for the land sakes.
My stars.
Ben Withers.
Well, fancy meeting you here, Abner.
I just don't know what to say, Ben. I ain't going to ask you how you got here.
Yes. How was your trip, Abner?
Oh, pretty good. Kept getting lost is all. Lum kept getting us off the road with them maps of his'n.
I'll bet you're surprised to see me here.
Well, Ben, to be honest, no, I ain't.
Fine. The bus made a stop someplace, and I got off. And I guess when I got back on, I got on the wrong bus.
I don't doubt it at all.
Postcards, you say you want?
Oh, well, I reckon I won't need one now. I was aiming on sending it to you.
Well, that's awfully thoughtful, Abner.
Well, why don't you just pick out one you like and look at it, and then I won't have to buy it.
All right. That's a good plan. How's Milford and Cedric and everybody?
Oh, they're all right. They're upstairs in the hotel waiting for me. Elizabeth's the one I'm worried about.
Fine. Here's a nice card here I believe I'd like.
All right. Go ahead and look at it, Ben.
It's rather interesting. It says, a typical Western dude ranch, La Cucaracha.
La Cucaracha? Well, that's the one we was going to stay at. That must be where Elizabeth's at now. Does it say how to get there?
No, just shows a view of the place. Several people in it.
Here, let me see it.
Highly colorful place.
That dog ain't a one of these is Elizabeth. She ain't in this picture at all. Must not have got here. Poor Elizabeth. What's happened to her, Ben?
Well, I don't think she's in trouble, Abner.
Oh, she is. I know it. Yes, she is. Bless her little heart. Bless her little heart.
Well, now, Abner, I think what we should do is call out to the ranch place and see if she's there.
No, I looked at the picture here. She ain't there, Ben.
Well, that picture's probably taken some time ago.
Well, she's been here might nigh a week.
Fine. I'll be glad to jump on the phone and make a checkup out there anyway.
Well, I sure appreciate it if you would, Ben. I don't think it'll do no good, though.
Well, come on. It won't hurt to try.
No, anytime there's anybody taking pictures, that Elizabeth always gets right in the front row. Just loves to have her picture took. And now, something terrible's happened to her. She might never have it taken again.
Oh, Abner, I think you're building this up in your mind. I don't think anything's happened to her.
Oh, yes, I know it has been. Running around this wild country all by herself. She needs me. I can see that now. I ought to come out at the same time she did.
Let's see. They ought to have that place listed in the phone book.
Poor Elizabeth. Poor little bedraggled Barbie.
Here it is. Yes. We'll just see what they have to say.
Never ought to let her get out of my sight. She's just plumb helpless without me, Ben. She don't know how to get along in a place like this at all. Wish I could see her.
Is this the Cucaracha Ranch? Well, I'm inquiring about a Mrs. Elizabeth Peabody.
It's my wife, tell him, Ben.
My wife. How's that? Well, fine. He says she's there, and he'll try to get her to the phone.
What's the matter? Is she sick in bed?
Well, he didn't say. He just said that she was there at the ranch. Hello? Oh, yes, I see. Well, we'll call later. Much obliged. Goodbye. He talked to Mrs. Peabody, and she said she couldn't come to the phone right now.
Oh, my goodness. What's the matter with her, Ben?
She's right in the middle of a water polo game, and she can't stop because she's the captain of her team.
Well, can Abner get out to the ranch in time to take care of poor, little bedraggled Lizbeth? Friends, do you know about the speedy relief Alka-Seltzer can give when a headache comes along as the result of a busy, hectic day? Well, you'll never know just how good Alka-Seltzer can be until you try it. So here's the thing to do. Ask your druggist for Alka-Seltzer. Then, the next time a headache makes you miserable, just drop an Alka-Seltzer tablet or two in a glass of water, listen to it fizz, and then drink it down. You'll be amazed at how soon you begin to feel better again. Yes, Alka-Seltzer is fast-acting because it's completely dissolved before you drink it, ready to go to work fast on a headache. Yes, when headache strikes and brings you grief, here's the way to fast relief. Strike back with Alka-Seltzer. Remember this, don't take chances on getting all the essential vitamins you need from your food. Supplement your meals with one-a-day brand multiple vitamins. Don't take chances. Lack of vitamins can cause you to feel under par, run down, keep you from feeling your best and so looking your best. Don't take chances. Take one-a-day brand multiple vitamins. Yes, for a basic daily vitamin supply, take one-a-day brand multiple vitamins. You can't afford to take chances. Only $2 for 60 capsules, a 2-month supply. Potency is guaranteed by Miles Laboratories. Ask your druggist for one-a-day brand multiple vitamin capsules. Listen every day, Monday through Friday at this time for Lum and Abner down in Pine Ridge, brought to you by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. Now, listen to it fizz. That's Alka-Seltzer's way of wishing you real relief from the miserable discomfort of a nagging headache. Ask your druggist for Alka-Seltzer now if you have a headache and see how much better it can make you feel. Gene Baker speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lum and Abner, September 16th, 1948. They made it to Las Vegas all worried about Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's playing water polo. Go figure. Alrighty, thank you so much for listening. Our webpage, classicradio.stream. Buy me a coffee there if you like what we do. And by all means, make certain that you visit mypillow.com. And, of course, buy something nice there and use the promo code Wyatt. You'll find all sorts of good stuff there. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon.